this is Arash Vossoughi. I want you to think about your results right now. And I'm going to pause for a second. I want you to think, what came in your mind? Did your health results come in? Did your wealth? Did it go right to your income? I want you to think what came in your mind. Now, these results we have all earned. And if I would have heard this years ago, I'm telling you this, if I would have heard this 15 years ago, it would have been a punch in the stomach to me. And all the results we earn, and if we don't like them, we get to change them. I want you to hear that word, get to change them. So what is the opposite of that result? Now, do you love it? Then you keep doing what you're doing. If you don't, I want you to think about what is it that you really want? What do you really want? And I want you to commit the next 3 to 12 months only focusing on that. See, a lot of people come to me, they say, Arash, I want your help to get me what I want. And I said, well, what do you want? And they start naming off a bunch of things. I said, that's where you're making the error. Focus on one thing. What is the one thing you want more than anything else? And I want you to write it down. And I want you to think about it all day long. Earl Nightingale used to say it the best. He said, we become what we think about most of the time. Now, what are you thinking about most of the time? See, our job is to create the mental equivalent of what we want. Now, what does that mean? That means we create the mental image of that person, and then we act as that person, we behave as that person through action. See, a lot of people are doing the study, they're listening to the videos, they're reading the books, but they're not acting. They're not acting. And until you act, it's delusion. Now, let's look at what wealth is. Wealth is ideas. Wealth is a reflection of our thinking. Well, most people go to prosperity. They think wealth is money. No, freedom is you. Wealth is you. Wealth is invisible. Let me give you some real key components of wealth. Number one is your image of yourself. That is wealth. It's invisible. See, this is something that everybody will shake their head. Everything free is the most valuable things in our lives. For me, my family. I didn't pay for them, but they're free and they mean the most. See, what we've got to do is unleash the things that we have access to at any moment. And I call them the Power Five. That's our decision, our standard, discipline, our image, and our attitude. Those are the Power Five. That's what creates wealth. You may be saying that, no, I do that. But do you do it? Do you do it? Have you built your attitude with some swagger? Where you don't know how to do something, but you have this confidence in you. See, I want you to go after your dreams with some edge. See, attitude is our competitive edge. That's one of the invisibles. Attitude is a reflection of our thinking, which creates our feeling. Our feeling is just conscious awareness of vibration. And our vibration dictates not just what we attract, but how we act. And that's how our results change. And then let's look at our standard. What type of standard are you operating with? Do you have your core values already? Do you have your top 5 core values that you could go to at any moment? See, that is going to define your standard. Who am I? And when we're talking about wealth, I always talk about this because it's our ability to serve. See, most people are sitting there right now and they don't understand the law of compensation. The law of compensation states that we get paid in direct proportion to the service we render, the need for it, and our ability to do it. Now, let's look at it a different view. I want you to look at what your income is. And this is where people have got to really come in and look at their service. Your income is in direct proportion to the service you're rendering. Well, you may say, well, how do I improve my service? Well, we want to ask ourselves. I was just working with a corporate client of mine in San Francisco, and I told them this. I said, who do you serve? And they had great answers, but the one answer is very simple, and it's people you serve. So we've got to prioritize people. Well, how do we serve people better? Well, we've got to understand us, because people are just a mirror of me or a mirror of you. So how well do you know you? See, you've got to know yourself really well so you understand the amount of potential you have access to, because as you get to know you better, you're going to serve better. See, this isn't very hard, and 80%, maybe 90%, maybe 95% of people who are frustrated, it's because they don't know how to serve. See, and I don't judge it. I was taught how to serve. My mentor really showed me how to serve, really how to listen. He used to say, Arash, you've got to listen with your emotions, not your ears. Well, I started putting all my attention and treating the person that I was with as the most important person. See, before, I wasn't aware of that. And once you gain awareness, you never lose it. So think about you. How are you serving? How are you listening? And how well do you know you? See, our spiritual DNA is absolutely perfect. Now, that's a big idea. So if you're rejecting it right now, I promise you, you're missing out. You want to accept it. See, we have access to all the knowledge in the world. What does that mean? That means we have access to everything that all the great leaders before us came, all the great information that they have access to, so do we. And we have access to all the knowledge that is yet to even come into our life. See, we've got to understand this. We are energy. And 99.99% of everything is energy. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we're gifted with an intellect. Well, if you look at my office, you look at all these books behind here, you look at this jacket, I created it through my intellect. And what we've got to understand, our intellect dictates our emotional state. Well, when somebody's angry, who do you think's in control of that? Who created that? Your intellect. That was from you. Your thinking. When you're happy, who created it? You did. See, we've got to understand our intellect is dictating our life. And we are gifted with 6 higher faculties. We want to start understanding them and using them. That's our will, our perception, our memory, our intuition, our imagination, and our reasoning faculty. Our reasoning is our ability to think. Our imagination takes us wherever we want it to go. You want to start understanding you better. Our job to create a great life, and I mean a significant life, is to become more aware of the perfection inside of us. At our core, at my core, at your core, there's perfection. We want to become more aware of that perfection. It is emanating in every cell of your being. Every cell of your being is absolute perfection. Now think about, how do you treat your day? Do you see it as a piece of art, like that you are molding the clay? Are you deciding every day, today is day 1. I am recommitting today with my whole being, and I'm expanding myself. I have a rule for myself. Every opportunity that comes, whether it's an idea, whether somebody gives me an idea, or whether it's a thought pattern within myself, is it expanding me or is it contracting me? Now, we want to understand this. And as you do that, you're going to see your results change. But become aware. You have access to all the knowledge in the world. You have access to all the power in the world. What does that mean? That shows your desire. You have access to so much energy. When somebody's operating without energy, they go, oh, I wish I had that energy. They're saying, I have no desire. See, you have access to it. You have to think. Use that intellect. Build wealth. Create a life of freedom. The only difference between somebody who is winning significantly and somebody who is losing significantly, the winner is a problem solver. Our ability to solve problems in a calm, confident manner is the key. I'm telling you this right now. You could do this. You could create a massive quantum leap. But ask yourself, am I focused on that one thing? Or am I all over the board? Am I all over the board? Am I focused on 100 things? Your conscious mind can only focus on one idea at a time. Focus on the idea you really want. What do you really want? My mentor used to tell me that all the time. He used to say, what do you really want? And he said, focus on one thing, one idea, and it would be a big idea. I call it this world-class idea, where you go to that world-class energy and bring it to you. See, I want you to win so badly. It is so much more fun to win than to lose. Now, you're going to have to be willing to lose to win. Expand yourself, stretch yourself, step out of your comfort zone, And for God's sakes, take action. You've got to act on the idea. If you're not acting on the idea, it's delusion. People will be like, oh, I've got a lot of faith. I said, well, tell me what you've been doing. Oh, I haven't done anything. That stops it. There's no such thing as faith without action. What is wealth? Ideas. Wealth is invisible. What are your invisibles? That's your higher faculties that I went over, those 6 higher faculties. That's your power of 5. Start mastering them. Watch this video over and over and over again. Get emotionally involved. Operate your day with some swagger. Go with some intensity. Go really with focus. Lock in on one idea. Lock in on one idea, you're going to be rewarded so greatly. And serve at the highest level. Get to know you. Start planting in your programming how you want your program to look. Thank you so much.